And we're live. How are you doing today, Jess?
I'm doing great. I love this song. It's so like, yoo-hoo, let's do it.
This song is so fun. It honestly gives me all of it just like pumps me up for every live stream.
The vibes.
The vibes, they're immaculate. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jess. My name is Shreya. Hi, everyone. It's one person who's watching live right now. It's probably one of us. Thank you so much for joining if you're not one of us. My name is Shreya, and I am a developer advocate at Courier, which means that I do a lot of really cool stuff with content and, going out to events and talking to developers. And I am the host of this weekly live workshop series called Decode, where we bring awesome developers from the industry to come and teach us about their products and their experiences in coding and build a really cool project together. Jess is our guest for today. This way, Jess, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Hello, I'm Jess. Actually, my name is Jessica, but nobody calls me Jessica. Only my mom when she's angry. So call me Jess, please. I'm also a developer advocate, but I work at Auth0 by Auth0. If you don't know Auth0, we make it as easy as possible for any developer to protect their customers' identities. And well, if you're here today, you're going to see how that works, which just gets me really happy about it.
Exactly. You can see from the title as well, we're talking about resetting password notifications with Python and Auth0. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means and what that's going to look like? What are we building today?
Yeah, so picture this. You have a web application, a website, and you want your users to log into your websites, right? So part of the flow of having users logging into your website is giving them the ability to reset their passwords in case they forgot it, which happens quite often, by the way. So one of the ways
forget
that we
my
can
password
do it,
literally every day. Like I could change it yesterday and then I don't remember it today. It happens all the time. Actually
that's one of the
embarrassing.
reasons why I love password managers, to be honest, because I don't have to remember those and they can generate the good passwords if you haven't need them. So once they forget their password, you need to have the flow of creating a new password and letting the user know that the password was reset or not. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a full application when we're going to add some things to it, some magic to it, and then we're going to make possible for people to receive a message say, oh, your password was reset.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to ask you to sort of just like walk me through the process of getting set up with Auth0. And then we'll talk about integrating Courier into our application as well.
Awesome. So I think the first thing that you could probably do is go to the Auth0 quick starts, because we have a bunch of sample codes that we can use and we're going to use one of them. So if you go to auth0.com and you can go into docs and resources, and there is the documentation there, and the quick starts are part of our documentation.
Got it.
So,
awesome. Oh, I see quick starts right over here. Perfect.
Yes. And we have a bunch of options. So we have regular web applications, which is website with a page for users to log in and logging out. We have single page applications, we have native or mobile applications, and backend and APIs. But today we are going to focus on the regular web apps. So
Okay.
regular web apps are what we would call a website, and they have the front end, they have the back end, and you can develop that with a number of ways. Today we're going to pick Python as our preferred way of doing. And just a quick tip, Python means that we are doing it with Flask. So Flask is one of the web frameworks for Python. So you can click the Python one, Treya, please.
I'm blind and I don't know why. Oh, I see it. It's right here. Okay, great. I was like, oh, where did it go?
It happens to me all the time. So this is our new quick start actually. So we have an interactive version of the quick start live now, and it is super fun because you don't actually need to go into the Auth0 dashboard at a first glance to try things out. So we are going to get the simple application first, and then we can start configuring things. But
Sounds
if you
good.
do not have a Auth0 account, you can click on sign up, that little I think it's purple button there. Yes.
Yeah.
And you can put your email. And the
All
first
right,
time you
I'm
do
going to
this,
create a new one.
yes, and you can
Treya.
use whichever email you want, or you can use a social connection like GitHub or Google or whatever it is.
Got it.
If you put in email, it's going to request that you put in a password. And Shreya is doing the good thing here, is she's typing a password without people seeing that she's typing a password, because things can go wrong on live streams, and we do not want to be throwing our passwords all over. So yes.
Exactly. Will you be responsible for the implementation of Auth0? Yes, I will. Well,
Yes.
technically, Jess will, but they don't need to know that.
Yes.
And we're just gonna not click on any of these two, but you can feel free
We don't
to
need.
chat with the expert if you
Yes.
want to.
Exactly. So I'm the expert today. Well, or so I'm told.
We have a live expert already here. Yes.
Yes. Isn't this great?
Yeah.
And once
Awesome.
it
I love the
loads, it's
little
going.
animation that it has while it's
Oh
loading
yeah,
as well.
yeah, because it's kind of filling in. So once it loads, it's going to take you to the dashboard. So this is the Auth0 dashboard. So the first time you get into the Auth0 dashboard, we have a way to walk you through all of the steps of creating your application. So you have never seen this before. You can choose that, and it's going to guide you through all of the steps. We are going to do that together, so we don't need to do it right now. But you also can go to the Genie session where you already know how to use Auth0, so you don't need to get all of the information. So you can go to get started on the bottom of the screen.
Mhm.
Yes, and this is a dashboard. So whenever, for example, I log into Auth0 because I already have my account there, I see this getting started page, and you can see everything that you can do for your applications and configurations that you can do. But Treya, if you could open another tab and go back to that quick start session so that we can
Auth0
see.
quick starts.
Yes, and if you Google it, Google will help find it too.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want to refresh the page just to make sure that it gets your information of your account?
Yes.
Oh, I know what you need to do. You need to log in first from there, so you can
Log
get
in here. Okay.
Yes.
Sounds
It's
good. And it'll
going to
auto log
figure
in.
out. Yeah. So now you have the information being grabbed from your dashboard. So once you have application there, you can see that information there. So if you want to scroll down a little bit so that we just get the highlights from the part that we are doing. So we're going to configure Auth0. That's the first step we're going to do. And basically that would mean that we would normally go into the dashboard and either create our application or choose one that we want and put in the information for a few things like the callback URLs and the logout URLs. And we're going to see that in a little while. I think because this is a new account, you should create a new application. So you have the three buttons on the right side there, and then
Yes.
you can choose which flow you want to do.
Okay.
You can create your application, or you can also see the sample code that we are going to use, because since it's the Flex one, if you click cancel there, you can also see that is a button that is the option for view sample application, and that's going to take you to GitHub.
Got it. Okay. So should we do this route or should we create a new one?
I think we can download that because we're going to use that, and then we can go back to the quick start and start configuring everything.
Okay, got it. I'm gonna go into samples. Oh, no. How do I download this?
You have to
Do
go
I
on
fork
the
it?
Auth0 Python web app because this is the the code
Oh,
sample that
yes,
we're going
yes,
to
yes.
use is
Okay,
inside
cool.
the folder. Yeah.
Yes,
So
perfect.
once we have more samples, you're probably going to see those in there too, right?
Yes,
If we
I'm gonna
ever
go
do
ahead
it.
and open a terminal and go into my demos folder. Create one for Auth0. And then I will clone this in there.
Awesome. And
Awesome.
if you cd into it and open the 01 login, I think was the name of the folder, if I'm not mistaken.
This one, yeah.
Yes. And I think it's best if you open just the folder for the login one.
Just the log. Oh, right. Okay,
Yes.
cool. Is there a way to do it quickly from here?
I don't
Or
know.
I don't know either. So we're just gonna go ahead
I'm
and
a terminal kind of girl, so
open
I go
this.
into the folder and then open code dot and it opens for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
I should have done that. Okay, next time. Go ahead.
So this is for the people that don't know Flask web applications. This is a very standard configuration of a Flask application. We have usually if you're doing the tutorials for Flask, you would see, for example, an app.py. Instead of app.py, we have a server.py, but it's going to work the same way.
Okay.
And we can use a production server if we're using the production configuration, but here we're doing just development, so it's going to be a development server, much like the Flask development server we see every time.
Okay.
So inside the server.py, it has a few configurations for the server to run, and it has the configurations we need for web applications. So one trick that people that are dealing with identity for the first time with these types of applications don't know is that, for example, APIs, according to what we use in Auth0, have a different set of configurations that you need to do from web applications. So for example, web applications, we need to have that OAuth class and registering the app for the Flask. And this is going to take care of the cookies, the sessions, and pass along all of the informations within our request for us, so we don't have to actually do those. And the good side is the quick sites show you how to do this. I'm just getting ahead of myself because I cannot help it. Sorry. So if you go back to your browser, now you have the code. I think we can use that tab that has the GitHub open and go back one step so that we can see the quick start again in another one. Yes. And now you're going to create a new application over there because this account is new. It doesn't have any applications, and we're going to give a cute name. Maybe, Auth0 and Courier.
code.
Resemble. Perfect. I like the short one. Good. Let's go. And one thing that is going to happen is we have to set the information for the callback URLs and the logout URLs. And on your left side, you can see there that we have the information for you to copy and paste. So that you have the HTTP localhost callback. That's what you use for the callback URLs. And we have the localhost 3000, sorry. Yes, and we can save that on the purple button so that we have that updated and, changes saved. Now we can run our application and try it out for the first time. So
we don't have to install the dependencies right now?
We do have to install the dependencies to run the application. So we go back to VS Code and open the terminal in there so that we can install it. And then for installing the applications, I prefer to create Python virtual environments. We don't necessarily need to do those here. If you don't want to, Shreya, you tell me what you prefer to do. Do you want?
Let's not do it for now, but do you mind sort of like explaining what you mean by creating virtual environments?
For sure. So Python virtual environments is a way to separate all of the dependencies for a given project inside of this capsule. So you don't have what we usually call like dependency hell or dependency problems, because sometimes when we are working in a project, we can provide support for different different versions of few dependencies. For example, you could have a project that uses Flask 2.0 and a project that the same project uses also Flask 2.8, 2.2, 2.3, whatever versions that you need. And you need to make sure that you're using those versions to test for backwards compatibility and those kind of things. So we can use Python virtual environments to test those things out and not have dependencies trying to trample over each other. So it is a good practice to use those, but because we already tested this out, we don't need those here if we don't want to, and we are just going to install it locally on Shreya's computer anyways. So for installing, on the quick start, we have the command, but it is pip install -r -requirements. So requirements txt is, that one is the file that has the list of all of the dependencies that we're going to use and their versions too. So once that runs, it's going to install things. That warning is just a warning. Usually another thing that we could do is update the pip. Pip is one of the packages that we use in Python for installing dependencies and controlling them. It is always good to also update them, but not necessarily in this case. So now that you have all the dependencies there, if they are installed, it should be fine. It should be able to run. So if you go to the quick start, you can scroll down a little bit and you can see the extra steps that we need to do, because we need to configure the env file. That's the part that is missing. And there, because you already logged in and you have the application, the quick start filled it out for you with all of the information, like the client ID, the client secret, the Auth0 domain, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yes.
Will these values be something that I can change later on since I've already put them on screen?
No.
Okay.
No. But what we are going to do later on is you can see that the client secret's not, everything is not there. But it is going to delete the tenant for safety reasons.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes. So we're going to copy those into your .env file. And we have a .env example file, so we can just rename that into .env and update it.
Rename it.
Perfect. And the only thing that is missing is the app secret key, and that's a Flask thing. Flask needs, when you're having web applications, you need to have an app secret key, and it is for like part of the security of the engine within Flask. So let's generate those. And inside the quick start, there is also the command to do the generation of the key. So
all right, did I miss that? There. Oh, it's right here.
Yes.
All right, let's generate a string for this. You can just run it in the terminal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's going to print out the string for you, and you can copy it into the .env file. Yep. Perfect. Sweet. Now you should be able to run your Python server. Well, Flask server. Yes. So the way to do it would be Python 3.
Python 3.
Yes. And server.py.
Server.py.
Oh, you already have something running on your part. 300.
Oh, I do. Oh, I should stop that 1 second. I forgot about that.
Developers, we always run things on the same ports every time.
All right.
So now we have our server running. We can actually access it from the browser. So if you go back to your browser, and you could use that link there. Just you see the one above it. 127. Yes.
You can't see it because it's on my laptop screen. 1 second. There we go. What's the difference between these two, running on this and running on this?
Well, that's a good question. But the top one is the web application, right?
Okay.
The other one is not.
Okay.
Fair. Sorry. But usually when we are configuring things for the applications, we want to run it on localhost. most of the time. So yeah, we use the first one for accessing it on the browser. If you try to log in now, you should probably see an error. Let's see if that
Okay.
happens. Yes,
Oops,
great.
something went wrong.
See, we are really nice when we make mistakes.
Oh,
So
it
what
tells me
happened
what the
there?
mistake is too, that there's a callback
Yes,
URL mismatch. That's
yes.
nice.
So if
Okay,
you go to the
which
quick
means
start, I was already expecting that to happen, and you scroll up a
there
little
you
bit. You
go.
see that we put localhost, not 127, .0.0.1.
Oh, wrong
Wrong
thing. I
one.
want to copy this, right?
Yes, perfect.
Cool.
Now if you save it, and if you go back and you try to log in again, hopefully everything will work.
Yay!
So what happened there
Awesome.
is actually a little bit of magic. So
Mhm.
once you get through the code and you set up your application and you have the logging route will actually redirect your users to Auth0. What that means is
Mhm.
you don't have to make extra HTML pages for the logging in and make the form. Well, I don't know about you, but I particularly don't like maintaining those type of HTML pages. I rather focus on the HTML pages for my users. I think those are much more fun. So Auth0, we give you the code for you to redirect your users to Auth0. So Auth0 shows you this
Mhm.
page. That's what we call universal login. You can
Mhm.
adjust this page as much as you want from the dashboard. You can put, for example, this is a simple page. So you could update the logo for Auth0 there for the logo of your company or the project that you're
Right.
creating. You could request more information out of the user. You could activate all the types of social connections. So this is done. You don't have to take care of having a database to store your username and passwords anymore. And Auth0 does that for you. So that's one of the
Mhm.
beauties of it. It's super easy on that side, and you don't have to maintain anything. So
Perfect.
now we can create our first user. So let's
Mhm.
create a user. Put an email and password there, and let's see what goes.
I think this is the email that I used earlier, so I'll just use the same one.
But I think
And
you have to create an account first
oh, okay, cool. Let me go back here real quick.
because this is the
You
login
said
page. So
sign up,
yes,
right?
exactly.
Cool. And I will just put in. I won't put in my normal password. I'll just do like random, and then
And
we'll
this show
continue.
you that your password actually needs to follow a set of rules because you have to
Rude.
create a strong password. And the
All
first
right.
time you
I
sign
already
up,
forgot what I wrote for my password. But that's all right. That's why we're building
that's
this.
good. We are going to reset it, right? So that's fine.
There you go.
Uh, so after you sign up for the first time, what happens is Auth0 needs to ask your user permission for giving the developer, the person that is developing, uh, the information. For example, if you were logging in with your social profile, that would probably mean your name, your profile picture, your email, or any other information that the application is configured to request. And you can
Right.
accept it. And you see there's a list of the things. And what
Yay.
happens was super fast is after you accept, Auth0 already redirected your user back to the web application. And it's showing you this new page where you can see the information from what we call the ID token.
Got it.
And the ID token has the information from the user. And the beauty about ID tokens, those are JWT, and I can talk about what JWTs are in a second.
Cool.
The beauty of ID tokens are that they have information from your user, like the username, the user profile picture. And it is helpful because you don't have to make an extra request to get those informations and display that in the front end. So before we had welcome guest, now we have welcome the email of the person.
Sounds good.
Yes. So we did that. Now we are
Mhm.
going to configure the part about resetting the password, right?
All right. Yep.
That's the fun part. Well, I mean, everything is fun, but I think that the one is on the one is cooler. So we
Yeah.
already set up our application. Everything is running. It's great.
Perfect.
If you scroll down a little bit, it's going to explain every part of that we just did. And so if you are following this along on your own later when you are reviewing everything that you saw here on Decode, You can check every bit of these steps and dive into more information, and everything is outlined for you for what you can do or not do. But the configuration of the application is running. It's
Okay.
perfect. It works. We just proved that it works. So now
Yes.
we can play on the dashboard, because that's one thing that I've been really looking forward to.
All right. So I'm going to head
So
over to the dashboard.
yes, dashboard.
So now we're going to talk about what the flow is like when you actually need to reset your password and all of
Exactly.
that. Okay. Okay.
Exactly. So the universal login page already has everything configured from signing up, which was the flow that we already did, to
Mm-hmm.
logging in. And
Mm-hmm.
even, let's say, if you put the password wrong, provide you a chance for you to reset your password. What we're
Mm-hmm.
going to do is using Courier to after the user resets the password, sending a message saying, hey, your password was reset.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that we can do, there are a few ways that you can do this, but the way that we are going to organize this is, because Auth0 takes care of the whole flow for resetting the password, we are going to
Mm-hmm.
use Courier for the second part, which is telling the user the password was reset.
Okay.
And that's where the beauty of Auth0 actions come in, because they allow us to extend what we do in our login and all of the flows that we can have, like logging in, logging out, user creation, and do fun stuff. So the way to do it is pick actions on the left side menu. And I
All
just
right.
realized I keep doing this with my hand because I'm trying to point things to the left.
Do this and then let's do that. Yeah.
And so you click on flows and actions. We have a library of integrations you can use, but
Mm-hmm.
we also have the flows part. So each little bit of the steps that the user do, like logging in, using creating a user profile, we have what we call the flows. So what we want to do is change the flow from post change password. That flow is
Okay.
after the password is changed, something is going to happen. So if you click
Right.
there, and it's going to show you this page. So basically right now, after the password is changed, the flow is complete. Nothing happens, right? And we want to put something in between the passwords being changed and the completion of that part of the flow. Something should happen. And that's what we
Right.
call creating an action. So we
Okay.
could install one action from the library of actions, or we could create a
Mhm.
custom one, which is what we're going to do. So if you click create action,
Sweet.
you can name it.
I guess this is what happens after you've done the reset password.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is going to be like our congratulations. I can't type congratulations on resetting your password, which is a really long name. We don't need it to be
Yeah.
that long, but it is what it is. All right, we'll go with Note 16 because I think you mentioned earlier that we want like the most updated version.
Yes, and it's already pre-selected. We don't even have to change it. But if
Sweet.
you wanted to go with a different version, there would be other ones available. But we use
Okay.
the most recent one that has like all the security things, and it's nice. Yes.
Right.
So this is a code editor. So this
Mhm.
is where we can write code. And I know as a Pythonista, we may not want to do some JavaScript code, but considering that we're already doing a
But
web
you don't get
application,
a choice. This is just how the world works, okay?
considering that we are doing a web application, chances are we already have a full stack kind of knowledge. So you'll probably already know how to do a little bit of JavaScript. And well, Courier here is very friendly and has all the code ready for us. So we don't have to actually write
Yeah.
JavaScript ourselves. Yes.
I'm going to head over to the Courier docs because we just want the snippet of code that allows us to send a notification from Courier. And we already have that. So if you head over to our quick starts, we'll use Node.js because that's what is compatible with our workflow over here. And I'm just going to copy this snippet of code and whoop, I keep going to the wrong place. Paste it. You mentioned just putting everything within this async function, right?
Yeah, you could have the functions outside and call it in. It doesn't, you can organize the code the way that you prefer to do it. It doesn't really
Got it.
matter much. But yeah, for the
So,
sake of this sample, let's do it
mhm.
like that. But if you are curious about doing more actions and being smarter about your code, we have a blog post that we can link to later, so everybody can check it out, and has great tips around how to do this kind of things and how to organize your code.
Awesome. And I'm gonna sort of speed through this because I think we've gone
Mhm.
through this part in a lot of different episodes of Decode, so we don't necessarily need to go into the details of it. But let's go ahead and install this. Install Courier in here. Is there like a shell or somewhere I can do
Yes.
that?
So the way actions work is you can install any dependencies from
Cool.
npm,
So I don't
and
need
you
to
just need to
run
give
the command. I
yes,
can
just
just
the
do
name.
this.
Yes, and if, for example, you want a different version outside of like the latest one, you can pick that too within
I like
yes.
how it
Otherwise,
autofills latest and I don't have to think
yes,
about what's needed.
exactly. That's perfect. But let's say you need to test and we need to use some specific version, you can do that there. So once that is done, you should be able to already install it once you're going to run it. It's going to install it for you. You just need to put it there. It kind of magically happens.
Perfect. And I'm also going to head over to my personal Courier workspace. If you
Mhm.
haven't signed up, you'll need to sign up and it's free, so it shouldn't be an issue. And I'm going to copy my API key. I don't need Courier anymore. And we're going to go in here. I think there's secrets. We can go ahead and add
Yes,
a secret, right?
because you do not want to have the key hard coded, and that way the information also is protected, so it's outside of prying eyes.
Cool. So I'm going to call it API key, and I'm going to add the value in here and save it. And I'm going to pull back my screen so you can see that.
Yes,
And
and
we'll go ahead. Oh, no, that's not what I want to do. I want
so
to,
they are
yeah,
there
go ahead.
exactly.
Oh,
And
it's
now
event.
for exactly, so that's how we call it inside of code.
Dot
And then dot.
API.
Perfect. Now we have the code ready. We could just save the
It is
draft and
giving me a
test it out.
little squiggly red. Should this not be,
Try to
did I
save
do
the
something
draft.
wrong?
I think you're correct.
Do you think it doesn't take like the dash? Should I change it into like an underscore or
I think
something?
we did with a dash before, right? Maybe it's
Okay.
just
We'll
being
try it. If it
safe.
doesn't work, we'll
Yes.
know to come back here.
Yes. So now the good thing is we just saved the draft. We did not deploy this, so it's not available to our application yet. We also didn't add that to the flow yet, but we can test it out. So the way to do it and test, for example, if the API key is working or not, is to run a test. And you can run the
Awesome.
test right there from the editor, which is one of the best things in my opinion. Because I like to test things on the same page that I am. So if you
Yes.
click on the triangle to the side, line next to secrets, yes. And then you have the information for the test that you're going to run, what events going to do. And if you
Sweet.
scroll down a little bit, you're going to see the run button. So that run button does the magic and it's going to run the test. And if something goes wrong, that's why it's going to tell us that is wrong.
I
So try to
should
run
update
that.
the message in here.
Oh, yes.
Thanks for updating your password. Or congratulations on resetting your password. Okay, cool. We don't need the data object. I'll leave it in here. But you can just as easily remove the data object since we don't have any fancy data or any variables.
Yes.
Cool.
Now, if you run
All
the
right.
test,
Oh, I
it's
forgot
going
to change my
show the
email.
error.
Crucial
Ooh.
mistake.
The
Crucial mistake, is that
details.
what it is?
Details.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna call this test, save draft.
So
Should I
if you
run it?
run, you're going to see, yes, you're going to see the error that we got earlier. And then we
Cool.
can debug what's going on.
Key is not identified.
I think it's a dash. Let's try
It's a
doing
dash,
another
right?
dash. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna remove it and go ahead and update my key.
I think you can
again.
edit it.
Oh, it
Just
doesn't have the
change
value anymore. Did it not save the value?
It could be. So
Maybe.
oh, probably that was why you have to always click save. Remember that.
I feel like I'm being gaslit. I swear I saved it, but whatever. Okay,
Since
I'm
you
gonna
were
save
doing
it
off
again.
screen, I don't know. I cannot help there. I'm going to trust you.
All right. I saved it again. And this
And you
time,
put underscore instead of, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And
So let's
go
run the
back.
test again. Oh my God. Yes. It showed the
Okay.
message. It showed the message. And the test run. So now we don't have any errors, which is a good sign. And the test run, and those are the stats of the test. So you run super fast. Da, 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 da. So it works.
And
Great.
I did get the
Awesome.
message, but I'm going to change this email so I can actually screen share it. Give me one
Yeah.
second. I absolutely should have prepared this in advance. All right,
Happens
I'll
to the
pull
best of
this
us.
up here and we'll use our, what is it? Where is it? This one should be courier.demos@gmail.com. Save draft and run test again.
Yeah. And keep in mind that we are putting down the email there, but you could have referenced the information for the user on there. So you would automatically update for each user. Otherwise, everybody would get like the email would every time go to that email that is hard coded there. So that
Yeah,
is something that we
that
will
would suck.
adjust.
That would really suck. Okay, sweet.
So the message went good. Now let's try to log out and try to reset it from the user. But remember, we need to go back to the flow and add that before.
Go back through the reset password flow.
Yeah, because we did the action. So the action's ready, but we need to put that into the flow itself.
So we want to do forgot password here, right?
Yes, but in the dashboard first.
Let me just open up my, okay, so we're clean. We don't have any emails right now. You said open up the dashboard first.
Yeah,
here.
the actions. So if you go back to flow there on
Yes.
top, yes. Now you see the action
Oh, we
exists,
created it, but we didn't actually put it
Yes.
in. Okay, yes.
but you didn't do deploy. So I think we just lost most of the work that we already did.
No, did I really? Oh my God.
Let's try create the because oh yeah, there.
Oh, it's
So
here. Okay.
put deploy so that we can see that on the list of possible actions.
Don't be dumb like me. Be smart and deploy your actions. Okay. But also
happens to
Auth0
the
is
best
smart
of
because
us.
it did cache that. I
Yes,
did save it.
it did.
Okay. Awesome.
I gotta be honest. The last time I did actions, I saved it and I didn't realize that it was like cached. So
it's not just me, okay?
Yeah, it's not just you. It happens
It
to
can
all
happen
of us.
to anyone. Yeah.
Yes. So the list of custom actions has all the custom actions that we created. We just have one. So you can drag it into the flow.
Ooh.
And you can drop it there.
Ooh. Wow.
And now you have to apply so that it is something that is enabled for your application. So now if you do go through your web application and do the forgot password flow, which will require you to put in the address, receive that information, and then reset the password. And after that, you're going to get an email for the congratulations.
You know what? I'm gonna start over because I want to use my
Because of
demos
the email.
account
Yes.
at
Good idea.
gmail.com. Okay.
And after this, I can show you where you can find the usernames and the name and information on the dashboard too, because that could be helpful.
So I'm just gonna make a random password, and then we created the account. We accept this. We log out, and then when we're logging back in, we click forgot password.
Yes.
This is the email that we want to use. Great. And
so now we go to your email.
So this is this is a pre-made template email that Auth0 sends when you are resetting the password. Confirm.
And then you can set a new password.
It's
also going to require you to follow the rules, and you're missing one rule, I think.
Am I? Oh, numbers? Oh, really? Oh, at least 3 of the following, so it's fine if I don't have all 4.
Oh, see, I never read the screens.
I feel that.
That's a problem that I have.
We got the message from Courier. Awesome.
Yes. Congratulations.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to congratulate your users for resetting their password. I feel like that's a little condescending. But what this would be great for is having like a, workflow that's
Yes,
going to help them get started with their application and being like, hey, this is where you left off, or hey, this is the number of items you have in your cart, or whatever you would want to do
yes.
next. Awesome.
This is super cool. And keep
Yeah.
in mind that this is just after the password reset was sent and the flow was followed through, right? We can also do things like after the user logs in or signs up. For example, one good thing that I would do would, if a user signs up for my application, I will say, oh, so glad that you were here. And if you're doing, for example, a SaaS application, you might want to send them documentation, blog posts that
Right.
might be interesting to them to read and try, to understand the product they are using. Those kind of things are really helpful to do. And you can use Courier
Exactly.
and Auth0 to do it super
Yeah,
fast.
besties.
Yay!
Woo! Wait, can you?
Oh, wrong side.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, no, that was the right side. That was it.
What side? What?
Yeah, let's go.
This one?
What? No, 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 the other side.
The other side? Oh my god, this is
There
very
you go.
confusing.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
screen
yeah.
is wrong.
Wait, high five. No way. Is
Victory.
it showing you? Is it showing you the other
For
side?
me, it's on the other side. Yeah, you should be like for
Wild.
the other side. I should be here
Wild.
and
I
you
have
on the
no
other
idea.
side.
Oh
Okay.
my God,
Yeah.
that's so funny. All right. Well, that's it for this project. That was pretty simple. There was very minimal coding, but I feel like that's just
Yes.
because we ended up stealing a lot of our code from like the docs and
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
And normally you would probably be coding on your own web application. You probably would be implementing your own endpoints and protecting those and redirecting, for example, for the login, logging out part of the process, those kind of things. So yes.
Yep. Perfect. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining. And we will not be back next week. We're actually going to take a break from Decode for a couple of weeks. And then we'll see where season 2 of Decode takes us. This is actually our finale episode. I should have said that like
Oh my
way
god.
earlier. Yeah.
So
Jess,
glad
is
to be
there
here.
anything? Thank you so much for joining. Is there anything that you want to share with the world?
Yes, for the Pythonistas watching this, if you have feedback, if you have questions, please do reach out to me. My DMs on Twitter, Mastodon, or whatever platform that you use are open. I'm really looking forward to talking to you. And speaking of, because this is April, and speaking of giving feedback and talking to me, both me and Joey, which is also another developer advocate at Auth0, are going to be at PyCon US. And a friend of ours is going to be at PyCon DE. So if you want to talk to us in person, we'll be there with stickers and awesome swag and a few demos. So keep your
Guess
eyes
who
peeled.
else is going to be at PyCon this year?
Oh my God, you need to take a picture together.
We're gonna meet. That's crazy. I had no idea. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
this is so
really excited for
exciting. I love
PyCon now. That's
it.
actually next week, so we're gonna see each other probably on like
Yes.
Wednesday or Thursday. Exciting.
Oh, this is
All
amazing. I
right,
love
we'll
it.
see you guys later. I need to find my mouse. I found my mouse. All right, thank you guys so much. Take care.